Oh, fucking hell. Sleepy times today. Um, yeah, I'm having a bit of a rough time, but I didn't want to let that stop me from doing stuff that I want to do, like streaming or continuing to do this game. So that's what I'm doing right now. So this might be a bit of a shorter one just because I'm kind of feeling under the weather for various reasons, but hopefully we can get some progress done anyway. And if I'm not too tired, I may just play a game later. We'll have to see. Let's go to the screen. Here we are. Alright, so first things first. Here we're on the game scene from before. I figured that I would want to do a bit of game organization. So let me move myself a little bit to the hold on. Just like this. To the other side, right? And actually I should probably put myself here. Yeah, so that over there, that's what I want to fix, right? Because I came across a couple of ideas. Ideas is the bad idea. Just recommendations for organizing your folder structure for Godot that actually kind of made a lot of sense to me, and so I think I want to do that. Basically, since Godot is kind of built around around the idea of every scene being very independent, it is usually considered a good idea to put your assets on the folder that corresponds to every scene. So that's what I'm going to be doing first. So first of all, these backgrounds, they probably don't need to be their own scene, but the player with its sprites should be a scene. So let's put this here. Actually, there's a lot less assets than I realized. Can I change the color of a folder? Of something that isn't a folder, rather. There's a set folder color. Can I set... Oh, that's not nice. I wish that I could... Okay, well, whatever. Then the angel, which we are going to put... Oh, hold on, this is the wrong place. This should be here. And then this should be... Okay, but hold on. Is that really a good idea? Yeah, it is. We can have subfolders, it's fine. The angel is going to be just here. And then these arrows and these backgrounds are just kind of common things, so we're gonna keep them outside. Right, so this background, all of this, right? Oh, where did it end up? No, not there. It should be here. Okay, and then we can delete these two folders that we don't care about. Just delete. And then... additionally, yeah, so we're gonna have to change the name of this folder. It's gonna be like common assets or multiple usage or something like that. Common? Let's call it common. Sure. So this folder is for things that multiple scenes are going to be using. These folders are for different scenes. We're gonna take the color off of this one, so back to the default. And so now, yeah, whenever we have more than one of a type of thing, I'm gonna want to have it in its own subfolder. So player scripts, right? And then here from scripts, we can have the animation picker and the player movement and the player. Hold on, player movement and player, why are they different things? Oh yeah, player extends player movement, right. That's, yeah, okay. However, if I move it from the folder, then this is going to break. So, scenes, entities, player, script. Let's ensure that this won't break, right? And then you can't find it, which is normal. But then I put the player movement here. And now you should be able to find it. Right? Yeah, okay, good. So that does work. And then these we're gonna change the color of. I wish that you could change the color of things that aren't folders, because I think that would be useful. That will make things a bit neater. But whatever, that is fine. We can deal with that. Things that only have one script, we're just gonna let the script loose, because why wouldn't we, right? Then the targeter, right, this arrow is part of the targeter, so it should be here. Right, this targeter entity, no, it should be here. So this targeter entity, this is its own scene that what it does is receive a target when it is created, and then forever points to that. The arrow is just cosmetic for now. It doesn't actually do anything, but it is the thing that will allow us to tell the player where it's pointing. So right now, I think what I did last time was let the player adjust the animation or control the animation player by using this targeter. So yeah, you can see it works here, right? Yeah, so that does work, and then the enemy can target the player. It's not doing it right now, but it can do it. I think. Yeah, so how does just to remind myself, how does the player give the targeter that thing? On ready, it picks the target, so it is assigned the target from here. Okay, that makes sense. So, I'm speaking a bit loudly, I feel. So, we get a good stage voice, right? Right, okay. So, having done that, right, then we... Okay, let's do another thing, right? I don't want this game to be full screen. I don't think it needs to be. It's not, like, graphically impressive enough that I feel like that's really warranted. I feel like it would play a lot better in a window, right? In terms of presentation. So let's change that. That is on project settings, I'm pretty sure. Somewhere here is display window. Okay. It should probably still be 16 by 9, right? So, what's like, let's look on Google, right? Common 16 by 9 formats. Common 16 by 9 sizes, resolutions, yeah, that works. Give me like a small one, right? Like 720p should be 720p. Yeah, 720p is like reasonable, I think. So like 1280 by 720, right? We can save that and then play it and see how that looks. Oh, right, I gotta make it not full screen. It should be on project settings, window, not full screen, make it window, yeah, window. Central primary screen, yeah, central primary screen, that works. Hold on, initial position. Can I change the position of the window with code? Can I do a rhythm doctor? I'm not gonna use that for this project, but that could be useful for something. It's a seldom used trick that is always good at catching people off guard. I love Rhythm Doctor, by the way. You haven't played it, you should play it. Okay, yes! Okay, so this does work, but if this is the case, then I also want the camera to be a little bit smaller, don't I? Oh, that's not the button I wanted to press. Hello, can you station when I do this? No, you can't. Okay, good. That's good. Okay. So, we've reminded ourselves, I've reminded myself of where I am in this project. So, here's where I plan where I have to go next. And what I should do actually is re-implement my to-do list that I put right here, because it was a very useful thing. So let's think about things that we need to do. Bullets, right? But I'm not sure that that's camera movement. Let's handle camera movement. That'll be a good learning opportunity, because I have no idea how cameras work in God. So let's say that that's what we're gonna do right now. I want to place this somewhere where like it won't get in the way too much. Okay, camera movement. That's what we're doing now. So, first, a cursory Google search. How move camera Godot, please? How camera move Godot engine? Ready, please, if you will. If it's not too much of a problem, Mr. Google, sir. How to programmatically move the Godot edit? No, not 3D. Okay, so first of all, there's not like a camera component here. There's just these borders here, right? These. You can barely see it, right? But it's like a really faint blue. And that is like our current viewport, basically. There's not like a camera, game object the way that there is in Unity. Maybe it exists, but it's just invisible? Or maybe it just straight up doesn't exist. Hard to know. So let's see. What does Google say? Can you hear the fan in my computer, by the way? I don't think you can. I think the noise suppression is actually doing pretty good work here. Let's see. So, camera. How to programmatically move the Godot editor 3D camera. No, 2D camera. Okay, Godot 2D camera, just like a tutorial or something. Camera 2D, Godot engine stable documentation. Okay, so it's a node. Inherits node, canvas item, node object. Camera node for 2D scenes. It forces the screen to scroll following this node. This makes it easier and faster to program scroll over screens that manually change the position of canvas hiding based nodes. Cameras register themselves to the nearest viewport node when ascending the tree. Only one camera. Okay, so hold on. Viewport node. Okay. That's a useful thing. What's a viewport node? How do I use it? I should probably put this on the. There you go. Viewport. Let's make this a bit smaller, actually. Just aesthetically, I find that it looks better to have it as a window for the stream. Don't ask me why. Okay, so viewport. Abstract base class for viewports. Encapsulates drawing and interaction with the game world. A viewport creates a different view into the screen, or a subview inside another viewport. Okay. Does that work? Child 2D nodes will display on it, and child camera 3D nodes will render on it too. Optionally, a viewport can have its own 2D or 3D world, so it doesn't share what it draws with other viewports. Its own 2D, so I can have two 2D worlds. That's interesting. Okay. Viewports can also choose to be audio listeners, so they generate positional audio depending on a 2D or 3D camera child of it. Yeah, that's same as Unity. Viewports can also be assigned to different scenes in case the devices have multiple screens. Oh, to different screens, okay. Finally, viewports can also behave as render targets, in which case they will not be visible unless the associated texture is used to draw. Okay, I didn't quite understand that. Show me the tutorial. Think of a viewport as a screen onto which the game is projected. In order to see the game, we need to have a surface on which to draw it. That surface is the root viewport. Root. Sub-viewports are a kind of viewport that can be added to the scene so that there are multiple surfaces to draw on. When we're drawing to a sub-viewport, we call it a render target. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's add a viewport and see what happens, right? That should be abstract class for viewports, encapsulates drawing in interaction with the game world. Okay. We have sub-viewport, interface to a game world that doesn't create a window or draw to the screen directly. Window, base class for all windows, dialogues, and pop-ups. Okay, so that's not what I want. Is it this? Is this what I want? I can't create it. Oh. Oh, what? Okay, let's add the sub-viewport. What do you do? Sub-viewport, size 2D override, 2D size override. Okay, where are you? You're not a node 2D, so you don't actually have a position. Yeah, I think I'm misunderstanding this. I think viewports are not necessarily what I want. Hold on, actually, if I just play it, what will you do? Yeah, no, it's just exactly this. Okay. Size. um, Size to the override. Render target. Player mode always. Update mode when visible. It's not really like anywhere, is it? It's not like a thing that has a position, I don't think. No, because the only ones that have transforms are 2D nodes, right? And 3D nodes, but that's for the 3D world. Hmm. Okay, safe to say I am not understanding what this is supposed to be. Another sub viewport. Okay, yeah. Let's try to keep reading the tutorial then. Delete, delete, delete. Here you are. Go away. Okay. You. No, not you. So when all these rendering 3D objects within a 2D game, rendering 2D elements in a 3D game, rendering dynamic textures. Sub-viewports are kind of viewport that can be added to the scenes so that there are multiple surfaces to draw on. When we're drawing, okay, so yeah, have a variety of use cases, including rendering 3D objects in a 2D game, rendering 2D elements in a 3D game, yes, I know, rendering dynamic textures, rendering procedural textures at runtime, rendering multiple cameras in the same scene. Okay, yeah, I understand. I think I get it, yeah. What all these use cases have in common is that you are given the ability to draw objects to a texture as if it were another screen and then can choose what to do with the resulting texture. Yeah, okay, I get it. I think I understand it. Another kind of viewports in Godot are windows. They allow their content to be projected onto a window. While the root viewport is a window, they are... This term has appeared multiple times and I don't know what the root viewport is. They are less flexible. If you want to use the texture of a window... The root viewport. Hold on. Let me see if I'm understanding something. Yeah, it wouldn't be this one. It would be like the thing that this is sitting inside of. Okay, hold on. Just to check something. If I add a window, create. Here you are. This is a window, and I can just... Oh yeah, this doesn't have a transform, that's fine. This is just another window, right? So like if I press play here... Oh, okay, this is like a... Oh, okay, but this is a window within the editor. This isn't like... Okay, can I move it actually? How come it doesn't have a position? Oh, it does have a position, it's just not a 2D position. That's weird, why wouldn't this be part of the 3D world then? Probably because the player can move it? Or rather the user? That's weird, I don't get why this works this way. Can it have 2D nodes? Like, does this just count as like a... I mean, obviously it can, but does that actually affect anything? Add a child node, just a sprite, a random sprite. Right? And then this sprite, we're gonna make the texture just like a square or something. Or actually just make it like this, just the icon, right? Does this sprite have like a transform? Right, so like... Right, so it exists within the window. Okay, I guess that makes sense, because it's not a thing that exists in the 2D world in the same way. Okay, yeah, so I understand how you may want to use the 2D node, the window viewport. Not really getting what the sub viewport, or rather, how this relates to moving the camera. Viewports are also responsible for delivering properly adjusted and scaled input events to their children nodes. Properly adjusted and scaled input events. By default, sub-viewports don't automatically receive input unless they receive it from their direct sub-viewport container parent node. In this case, input can be disabled with the disable input property. Okay, I think it's pretty safe that this is not what I want. Okay, so camera. There's the camera node. That should be just easy. Camera 2D, right? I have this camera. And this camera. Okay, so that. But this is not going to be the default camera, right? Is it? Oh, it is. Oh, okay. So when no camera detected, camera just default to that position, to 0, 0. That's the joke, the whole bit, I guess. Okay, that's. I guess it's simpler than just allowing for the idea of not having a camera, right? Because if you're not rendering to anything, but I'm not sure if I like it, but whatever. It's just the sort of thing that you get used to. Okay, so we have our camera. Camera initial position should be the same as this, so probably just transform 0, 0, right? And then oh well, it should be 512. No, okay, it should be half of the screen resolution on both. So it's like 1280 divided by 2 and 720 divided by 1280 divided by 2 and 720 divided by 2. There you go. So that's what we get, right? Then okay, so then our camera is here, right? We do want this camera to follow the player, but we want it to stay within the constraints of this these borders, right? So it shouldn't be a children of the player, right? Because we may want this camera to change target. So its position is not determined by being a children of the player. It just has the target that it is currently following, which can change, right? And then as for the world borders, it shouldn't just have a collision, should it? Because, like, I mean, I could just put, like, a fucking... it wouldn't be a character body, put, like, a rigid body or something here, right? At the edges of the camera, so that it bumps into things and doesn't allow the camera to move. But then that script should handle it like it's collision. I'm not sure that's what I want, right? Something like this, yeah, physics, rigid bodies is not the answer, is it? Because I mean, I could make it. Because I mean, I could make it so that it has a reference to each of these, and so it queries their position. But that's like a cross-reference that I'm not sure I'm comfortable having, given the, very orderly precision that Godot wants to have. So really, it feels like the best option would be to... Yeah, really, it feels like the best option here would be to... Hold on. There's something we should be figuring out first. Is camera size. This is not the right camera size. We basically wanted to barely move the sides. So we need the camera to be bigger. And as I expected, the transform scale doesn't really work. But the zoom might. So let's say that it's like 1.5. No, 0.5? That's way too much. 0.9. 0.8. I want the enemy to be visible at all times, right? So I need this to be such that the enemy is visible at least partly when it's like right here, right? And so I would like this position to be very precise, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get it. Can I, like, is there like a grid visible that I can... Oh, Oh, smart snap. Does that work? Can I? Hey, hell yeah, that works. Okay, good. So yeah, then we're not moving sub-pixel amounts. So then, yeah, this is the size of our camera. I wonder what this square is going to be. Like if this is our camera, let's call it the game camera, right? It's probably going to be the only camera, but just being a bit cleaner about it is a good idea. I'm not sure I like these camera proportions. Maybe it should be even smaller. But this already feels pretty small. Let's try something like 0.7, right? This is already larger than the background. But this actually feels like it makes sense. Okay, so then let's grab this game camera, turn the snap on, start moving it. Hold on, what if I turn it off? Oh, this does move only pixel amounts even without. Okay. Could you line yourself up, please? 0.75, 0.8. Is this a screen proportion I'm happy with? Yeah, everything's a bit too big, isn't it? Okay, so here's what I think I should do. Let's make this 0.6 and then make the background bigger rather than anything else. So we're gonna push the angel out. We want the world borders to stay there though. We want the scale to be like 2, probably, right? And then we want your position to be like aligned to this corner. Right? And then we're gonna put the angel back inside the background like this. We're gonna have to put it back in the middle, so like that. And then the game camera can just kind of move its way around to here. Right? And then we want the world borders to be a bit stretched out. So like on the x-axis, we probably want it to be like no, not the world borders, the background. Right, but not the angel. So like yay big, probably. No, that's way too big. And also you're stretching both. Don't do the thing. Do it like this. Right? This stretches the pixel art, but like it's so just unpixely anyway that I don't think that's an issue. Right? Can I snap you to world center? Because I wish I could just kind of do that. Actually, why don't I just fucking put you at 0, 0? And then don't bother with anything else. Right? And then I can put the player like right here. It's not like it matters. I mean, this camera defaults to like having that corner there, but like that's why I'm making my own camera. Aren't I? So yeah, this feels like it makes more sense. So then I can have this like... It doesn't matter that it's precise. Like here, right? Because the limits are going to be made programmatically. Okay, this feels more appropriate. Yeah. So like the idea is that the camera has to have some room to move over there and up and down, but like massively more up and down because it's longer on the sides, right? So the idea is that this space feels square even though it's technically not, right? If even because if the square due to resolution due to like the human mind has a bit of a vertical bias, right? So like if you make a space the same in height and width, people are going to perceive it as being taller. I think it's taller. Yeah, taller. Especially since moving to the side results in the camera not really moving. So you know use that as a point of reference, even though the screen is so obviously way wider than it is tall. So okay, so we have that. So the next thing we want to make the camera follow the player. So we're gonna need a script for the camera, right? So let's add one. Camera follow. What's the script naming convention that I've been using actually? Hold on, cancel that. I've been going with yeah, it's case. It's case like that. Okay. So camera, we're gonna call it camera, which is not what people usually do with Godot, but whatever. Camera follow. I am allowed to do what's more comfortable to me. And then I want this to be in stages. Let's put it on a camera entity. Let's make the camera its own scene. That's probably not very useful, but just in case I want to attach something to the camera later. So let's create a new folder. So in entities, we're gonna have a new folder. It's going to be camera. This is probably just trying too hard. Right? Camera and camera follow will go inside there. So yeah, there we go. Okay. So this camera should have a target, right? And that target should be changeable during runtime. So the way it should work is... Hold on, give me a second. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we're extending from camera to D. So this should have a variable that we can assign it from outside, right? So export, it should be a node 2D. Really, the only thing that's important here is that it have a position. So it should have a transform which comes with node 2D. Node 2D type, and that's not how you write these. It should be called target. There we go, target. Node 2D. Right? So here we can assign it the angel just by default, right? And so, just as a preliminary test, what this should do is this should be on the process, right? So process func, right? We start with function process, and then let's just say, just for now, just as a preliminary thing, transform point position. Actually, no, in Godot I can just access position by itself. Position equals target point position, right? And yeah, and that should work. then, did I give it the angel instead of the player? Yep, I think that's what I did. So yeah, this is the node that you should be given. Ooh, ooh, what's going on? Ooh, why did you node the thing that I wanted you to do? But it still changed to the angel. What's going on? And also, the player's arrow is not work. Oh. This is the target that I wanna... Yep. And what I wanna give you is the player. I was changing the target on the player node, not on the game camera node. That's why they are also blocked. Also broke. Okay, yeah. So the camera obediently follows the player now. That's good. Then we have this. Although actually, we can use this targeter, can't we? This script is very reusable, isn't it? Because then we can use it. No, what am I doing? Yeah, if I were using this targeter script, I would really literally only be using it to store a reference. That's dumb. That's silly. Then... right, so I wanted to make this a scene, so let's make this a scene. We can probably just drag this into here and it'll do it, right? Yep, okay. Save it. There you go. And now it's a scene. It has become a scene. It's complaining because scene main node CPP parameter common parent is null. Is that like an issue? What's going on? Oh, it's probably just trying to alert me that it lost this reference, so I have to give it again. Because it became a scene, so it's not a... Yep. Yeah. That will be my guess. Clean. Damn, Godot back at it again with the undecipherable error messages. Yeah. Okay, so the idea now is that the camera won't go outside of this space, right? The same space that the player collides with. So, what we would do in that case, right? It would be very easy to just feed it numbers and have those numbers work. However, it would be more... because those borders are defined by the existence of these objects, so it would be more programmatically sound, more extendable, if, even though I know that they are not going to move necessarily, the whole point of this is learning, right? So I want to kind of do things right. I can then wing it when I'm doing shit, you know, for more practical purposes. But for learning, you kind of want to learn the right way to do it, right? And this is the right way to do it because then it allows for more possibilities. It allows for changing these borders on the fly, or for putting this same camera object into another scene and not having to finagle with all the numbers. You just give it a reference to these things. However, I don't want to have an indirect reference to these things because it feels that something like a border is something that is being given by the stage, not by the random object that is just purely there to handle collision, right? So, being that the case as it is, we should probably have a stage script that is in charge of passing those references around and also placing these. So then each stage is in charge of setting its own boundaries, right? And that just makes more sense to me. So yeah, let's add a script here. We're gonna call it stage. Yeah, we're gonna put it here. So this is the script for the stage, and the only thing that it's gonna be doing for right now at least is setting boundaries. It's boundary setting. So it is going to. Well, that's the thing. It's gonna need 4 export variables, right? So but rather than having export variables, since we know that these things are going to be here, let's just give it those as variables. So export node to the yeah, down limit, yeah, variable down limit of type node to d, right? And then can I duplicate? Is there like a shortcut to duplicate like the way there is in Visual Studio? Oh god, what did I do? Yeah. Let's look it up actually. Sure. Dot code editor shortcut duplicate, because that would be useful if it was there. Default editor shortcut. Open 2D, open 3D, open script, search help. Control F, duplicate, duplicate lines, Control Alt down arrow, Control Alt down arrow. Oh, okay, that does work. Okay, so we want 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is right up. What the fuck am I? Why am I writing like this? This is not how I'm supposed to be writing it. Game camera. I'm gonna get used to doing stuff the way that people are doing it. So down limit. Limit here underscore L, and then this is the up limit, and this is the left limit, and this is the right limit, right? And so what it'll do is this is purely passing these references because to a stage script that will then be in charge of passing it to the game camera, because that feels more sensical, right? Yeah, that feels more sensical. So, because if I give the game camera just these, you know, like it makes sense for the camera to be hooked up to its parent, but not to be randomly hooked up to like a different independent child, right? A child that is supposed to be independent, right? Like I think that makes more sense. Because then we're not having like a weird cross-reference, we're just having a strict hierarchy, right? And that makes things nicer, because then you have to attach the camera to a stage. And then a stage is also just going to be keeping track of where these limits are, so we can just use the same function to query from something else that may need them. The player doesn't, because these just have their own collision, but something else might, like a bullet, for example. So yeah, so then what would I want to do with these? Because these are nodes, these can move. So if the limits for some reason change, then I may want to query it again. So it might be a good idea to just have it be as a signal, right? Let's do that. Let's create a signal here. Node signal. So here we want to establish a new signal. How do I make a new signal? Also, why are you a canvas item? You shouldn't be a canvas item. You're the stage. You're node 2D. That's all that you are. Is everything a canvas item? Yes, everything is a canvas item. I didn't realize. Okay, tell you what. Bathroom break. Okay, I forgot to turn on the mic. So yeah, I want to create a new signal because this signal will be sent to anybody that is hooked up to it whenever the but except hold on, is it really should it really be a signal? Cause see, I'm signaling down, and that's not usually what you want to do. Usually you want to signal up and then reference down, right? But the whole point of this signal would be that anybody can subscribe to it and unsubscribe whenever they want, right? So like, say if there's a thing that needs to know if the border is changing, it's going to just have an awareness of it. Right? So like, yeah, just like an update border, right thing. Just Is that really what I want to do? So like if I make a signal here, thinking. Because what people say is just reference down, but then if I reference down, then that means that the stage has to have an awareness of everybody who wants the thing, right? And if new things are being created, then it's not going to necessarily have that. But it feels weird to make a signal to a thing that is a direct child, right? Doesn't it? Let's make it a signal and see what happens, right? So signal, borders updated, right? That's how you write it, right? And then, oh, okay, this is not, okay. Signal, borders updated. When borders updated, no, actually, this is just a signal. This is just, then I'll see when I call it, but, right. And it should be called on ready. Ready, function ready, call the signal. Borders updated, point, emit, right? And then emit it again whenever the borders need to update, which for now is not really any other time, but, you know, eventually it's going to be a thing. Possibly. Then I want to connect the borders updated to the game camera script, like so. Then anybody else who needs them would have to subscribe to the event. But except no, because if that's what I want them to do, then in that case, then I would need to subscribe them to the stage, which means that they will need a reference to the stage, right? But does that work actually? Because given that stage is always the root of the node tree, then couldn't I just get it from the root, right? So get tree, get root. Get tree, get root, borders updated, connect, right? Let's test that. So let's have like a fucking, or actually let's just do it right here. So in func ready get tree point get root get tree get root, and then in here what we want is borders updated, which is a type of signal. Borders updated point connect. It does an error, right? How does connect work in this context actually? It doesn't. Because the word is not connect. Borders updated point. It is connect. Get roots. Oh, that is not the root. Oh, that's a problem, because then we can't really access this script from just anywhere cleanly, can we? I mean, okay, because here's the thing that I want, right? I want an object to appear and to connect itself to this signal if it needs to, right? If it needs to be aware when the border is updated, which means that it would need a reference to that stage. Hold on, this seems like a... Instantiate child scene, add child node, sub resources, span and collapse, branch, cut, copy, attach, detach, extend, change type, save branch as scene, copy node path showing file system. There was a way to make it this. Yeah, there was a way to call this like an only child, right? Like one that only one instance of will exist. Is that just not a thing that I'm available to do when it is not a root node? So like if I did this, access as unique name. Yes, that's what I want, but for this, can I not do that for the root node of a scene? It's like, okay, get tree gives me a scene tree. And then scene tree get root. The tree's root window. But this is only when it is given on its own, right? If given a root tree, given a scene tree, or if called from a scene tree. Every node can be added to as many groups as you want to create. An enemy group. Penetrate these groups or even call metaset properties of nodes belonging to any given group. Scene tree is the default main loop implementation used by the engine. Thus, in charge of the game. So hold on. So get scene is going to give me get root is going to give me this node, right? Not the root window. So this is not a window. So get root. Hold on. Is that really how it works for this updated? Connect. Like that. It should error, right? Like if what the yeah, okay, it does. Base object of type window. Fuck. So yeah, so it is not the root of everything. It's just the root of, or it is the root of everything, not just the root of this scene. Oh, that's annoying. Because then, in order to access the scene, parent of the scene, then it's gonna be like. Yeah, how would I... I'm bad at Godot. That's what I'm realizing. I'm bad at this shit. definitely a way to do this. There's definitely like a way to a way that I'm supposed to be doing this, right? That I'm not understanding. Because what I could do is just give the game camera these for references, but what I don't want to do that. I want to have like an object that is like managing the borders, right? And so it is aware and it is sending signals to anybody that needs them when the borders are changed. That way, and we don't have to be storing useless references everywhere. We just have them in one place, right? It's just that means that these objects need to be given those references on creation, right? And given that, right, okay, so fucking amazing content that I'm making, by the way. Just completely just eyes closed, deep thought noises. So hold on, maybe I'm thinking of this the wrong way. Maybe there is no reason why this should be on the stage itself, right? Like maybe this world border object should be the one in charge of that. Maybe that makes more sense. And so it should be in charge of sending signals. But then that just leads me to the same problem of how do I reach this guy consistently from everywhere else? Right? Like if I create a bullet and the bullet wants to be aware of this signal, how would I do that? I will need a strict reference to the stage, but that, you know, it's not like I can just do that. Because I don't necessarily know where that bullet is going to be on the hierarchy. Right. Would I need... Hold on. Is this a use case for a global script? That feels silly. Why would that not be part of the stage? Like a signal emitter, right? But that's so weird. I don't think I like that. But like, is it weird? Ah, oh, fucking hell. Is it weird? Is that a weird thing to... I feel like that brings more problems than it solves, right? Because it's like outside of everything. So like, I'll be having a border manager, but this thing is a global, right? So then if I say, for example, right, that I hot swap the stage to a different stage that has the borders placed differently, then would this stage be just updating the global, right? Would this stage be emitting the global? Right? No, surely the stage should be emitting its own signals. Because its only purpose is to emit a signal. Not even to emit a signal, to hold a signal, to create a signal and have it be visible from everywhere. Right? Like if I make a global script here for this purpose, its only purpose wouldn't even be to emit the signal. Like the thing emitting the signal would be the stage, right? Because it is the one that knows when that signal needs to be emitted. So I mean, it works, right? But it feels too roundabout. Okay, you know what? Whatever. I've seen people online do this. So I think I'm just I am going to assume that this intense rejection for the idea that I'm feeling is me not being used to the workflow of Godot, right? Because that's a thing that I always criticize other programmers too, right? For assuming that things are wrong just because they are not like they are used to. And this is very much not how I am used to it. But I am going to keep an open mind because I've seen other people do this. I'm going to assume that this is not actually as bad of an idea as my gut is telling me. That's what my gut is only telling me this because it's too used to playing around in Unity. So, what we would do here then is create a new global script. And let's just, well, since we have a folder that is for common things, that feels like an appropriate place for, a global script. So let's create a new folder, and this is going to be art, sprites, assets, pictures, images, right? And this one is going to be green, and you are going to be blue, and then these two pictures go here, and then we're gonna create a new folder, and this is going to be scripts, and this is going to be red. Just want to keep up the color coding because that's useful when I have multiple folders in the same place. And then here, project settings, we're going to create a new folder, and it's going to be, it's going to be common script, and we're going to call it signals. This is the thing that I've seen other people do, right? Signals.gd. Oh, press add. Okay, where is add? Yeah, node name, we're gonna call it... Yeah, we're gonna call it signals. Signals. What was that? Did you see that? That was like an error message that flashed for a bit. I don't know what that's about. We're going to be adding it. Oh, that's where you put it. Okay, and we're gonna put it in common scripts. Oh, right there. Create. Okay, so now we have this, right? This global script. And so what this script is going to do is it is going to have a bunch of signals that whose purpose is to be visible to everybody outside of this script, so that anybody can trigger them when they need to, or emit them when they need to, or subscribe to them when they need to. So then connect. It's you know, the classical programming subscriber observer pattern, or something like that. I forget what the actual name is, but you know. So then, okay, so yeah, so we have this, and then we're going to create that signal. So function borders updated, right? So like, yeah, it's the same name that I used here because, yeah, so signal borders updated. For now. So signal, no, it's not a function, it's a signal. Signal borders updated. And yeah, for now it's just gonna be blank, but it's gonna probably have to receive the numbers for those borders. So then, yeah. Should it receive for nodes? No, it should receive for position, right? For numbers. So, right, I always forget. Signals. Yeah, let's just first of all make sure that the signaling actually works, and then we'll actually see about sending the data that we should be sending. So, while it does make sense for the stage to be sending the signal, we could also be sending it from the object itself that manages the borders, right? So let's do that. So this stage, let's just copy all of this, and then just erase this. How do I close? Yeah, just close it. Save it, and then we don't actually want this, so delete it. The stage, yeah, remove it, and then the stage just remove script, right? So, okay, so then this world borders thing is going to be attached to have a script attached. And we're going to make it inherit from node 2D because we don't actually need any functionality of the other thing. Actually, it could just inherit from node, just be a thing that is very, you know? And then this is going to be like borders, right? And so, yeah, the way that this is going to work is going to be like this. We're going to extend from node, and we're going to have a reference to each of the individual limits. And so on ready, you're going to take this global signal that we made, this borders updated signal, and you're going to emit it. But this thing is in signals, right? You're going to go to the signals global, grab the borders updated signal, and emit it. And actually, you should do it like that. There you go. Signals not declared in the current scope. Okay, project settings. Its name is signals with an S. It should be signal. No, it should be signals with an uppercase. Signals. And also, while we're at it, change the name of the script itself. Because why is it lowercase? Right, so I want them to match just because it makes it nicer for me, but yeah, so on the signal script, borders updated, right? Actually, just it should match the name of everything else, right? This is like a global node. So while the script should be named with an uppercase because that's what I've been doing for all the others, the actual name that is used for referencing should be lowercase. And then you do the signals. So yeah, you reference the global script, find the borders updated thing, signal. What do you mean on a base object of type window? This is not a base object of type window, this is a script. Are you just not updating? What is going on? Hold on, no, you showed me an error from a thing that is no longer happening. This is an old error. This is not valid anymore. It just super confused me. Okay, and then we have this. Okay, so it's not erroring, right? So it is sending the signal. Let's check that it is actually sending the signal and also that we can subscribe to it. So the game camera on ready, you're going to grab the signals global, you're going to grab the borders updated signal and you're going to connect yourself to it. And the thing that you're going to connect to it is on stage borders updated, the function that we said. Right? And so every time this signal is emitted, you are going to how do you send a message? Debug? Is it debug? No, it's not debug, that's the Unity one. It's print debug. Print debug received. And that if we see that in the output, then we're gonna know that the signal was received. It should be received already, so it should have been, and it hasn't been. Oh no. The signal borders updated is declared but never explicitly used in the class. Yeah, this is an error that happens. This is something that just happens. Parameter delta is never used in the physics process. Yes, I know. How about you shut the fuck up about it? The local function parameter rotation is showing an already declared property as the base class of node 2D. Yeah, that is not a problem. I wanted to shadow it. No, I don't. Oh, god damn it. Okay, is there a way to change all of this? To change every instance of it? Can I just... copy paste, select all indent, unindented, toggle comment, toggle bookmark, toggle comment. Oh, that's front inside line. Uppercase, lowercase, evaluate selection. Evaluate selection. No. Create code region. Oh, that's neat. Not gonna be using that, but you know, folded on folded line. Oh, okay, you can do that. Okay, so can I change every single instance of a variable in GDScript? Code editor, change every instance. Change a variable in every instance is. No, you're talking about, no, that's not what I want. Running code in the editor. I'll change one instance without them all changing. Automate variables update across. No, just the text. Can I do like a editor settings, commands, palette? Find, replace. Oh, it's just find and replace. Okay. Find rotation replace with received rotation. Right, and then this is going to replace all these as well. So I want whole words. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, and then replace all. Okay, so that works. So then this is not going to be a problem. The parameter delta is never using the function. That's fine. Just fucking flag it as such. It didn't send the thing. It didn't send the output that I was expecting it. But actually, why is it printing on debug? Maybe the print debug only prints in debug mode, for all I know. Right? So... did you print? No, you didn't. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, in you're ready, you're updating yourself. But stage is on it's ready. Or rather, world border system, it's ready emitting the signal. But that's not what we want, is it? Or not necessarily. See, the game camera could very well be ready before the world border. The world borders could very well be ready before the game camera is ready. So it will have emitted the signal before the game camera has had a chance to attach itself to it. So how do I ensure that the signal is emitted after every time? After all the necessary actors have been ready? Well, we could emit it, we could emit the signal with a delay. We could emit the signal 1 frame after this, right? But hold on. Anybody who is going to need to update its borders is going to always need them updated as they spawn, aren't they? They're going to need to be aware of the borders. So when they spawn, they're going to be requesting yeah, when they spawn, they're going to be requesting some data that should be stored, not really, not really, not really getting that, right, are they? So we are going to need the signal, or rather, it would be a good idea to make the signal. I don't think we're going to be needing it because I do not expect these borders to move, but we should also be storing data, plain data, so that they can request it. The things wanting it should be able to request it when they want, rather than rather than being forced to wait until the signal is emitted, right? So rather than making a thing for just signals, we should have one that is in charge of handling those borders, right? And so, or could I do a call referred? Could I emit the signal but always defer? No, because again that doesn't solve the problem of a new object appearing on the scene and wanting the signal. I can't just make it so that they force it to trigger the signal, right? Because then that's just updating for every object that doesn't necessarily need it updated. They only need to be updated when the borders are updated, when they are moved. Fucking hell, this is way too difficult for something that shouldn't be that simple. It's frustrating. It's frustrating feeling like you don't know what you're doing in an environment where you usually do. But that's what learning is all about, isn't it? Okay. Right. So what's the issue? I have these world borders, and I have objects that want to be aware of where those world borders are and when they move. They want to be aware of them in every instance. So the issue is that I can't hook them up manually because I have objects in mind that are going to want to know where those borders are when they are instantiated. And so they are not going to necessarily be too okay with that. Right? So what I'm thinking is every object should have the borders, or rather the limits of that those borders delineate, stored as a bunch of numbers. Just 4 numbers that dictate how far to the left, right, up and down you're allowed to go, or, you know, for whatever reason that those borders may be needed. So then the problem becomes of updating those numbers when those borders change and when the object is spawned onto the scene that needs them. Updating them when they change is easy, and that's pretty much what I've already done. But updating them when they spawn on the scene is kind of proving to be a bit complicated because I'm not storing those borders anyway. So that's anywhere. So that should be thing number 1. Making sure that I am storing those borders. So let's actually change the name of this script. This shouldn't be a signal, this should be a borders, right? I want every functionality, any global functionality to do with the borders to be here. Then we're going to go to the project settings and we're going to say this is not the signal, these are the borders, right? So global borders access. Why is that? Because now I'm going to be adding a bit more functionality to this. You're not only going to consist of a signal that is going to be emitted whenever borders are updated, you're also going to hold a reference to all the borders. So when borders are updated, the signal is emitted. When the signal is emitted, you're going to run a little function. Basically, you're going to hold a variable that is all the borders, right? So var up border, up border, right? Up. Actually, hold on. So bum. I'm going to have a variable that is going to be called something border, and it's going to be of type float, right? And then the borders are going to be up, down, left, and right? So now we are solving the problem of storage. We are now storing these variables, but we actually have to make sure that they are indeed being stored, right? This is just the groundwork for storing them. So basically, whenever the borders are updated, these numbers should be updated too, right? So actually, that's another thing. The signal should receive 4 floats: float, 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 and float, right? Then, oh, these are the names of the parameters. Receive, yeah, this should be received up, received down, received left, and received right. And this should be floats, right? I could make them floats in the designation, but actually that's not necessarily necessary. So then, yeah, so then I'm going to have my own function here that is store, no, this should be, yeah, on borders updated. So you are going to do your own thing when the borders are updated, right? On borders updated, and you're going to be receiving 4 floats. So received up, received down, received left, and received right. Right? And then, yeah. So up border is going to equal received up, down border left, border right, border, and they are going to be equal to received and their corresponding one. So down, left, right. Oh, this is, yeah, I just wrote that wrong. This is the way it should be. Right? And then we have to ensure that this is being called every time that that this happens. So this, so we're going to say on, yeah, borders updated, we're going to connect, on borders updated, right? Wait. No, this is how I connected. Oh, right, because I needed to be on ready. Wait, hold on. What? Does anything assure me that the ready of a global is going to be ready before all the other readies? Is that a thing that I know? Because if not, then this has just been a complete waste of fucking time. Right? But let's test it if it works, and then we'll make sure, right? Because if it doesn't, we'll know for sure. Identifier signals not declaring the current scope. Right, because this is no longer called signals. This is borders. Borders. And the same for you. Borders. Okay, so we did an error. Right, so the whole idea now is that when you're ready, you're going to emit the borders updated, right? And that, if I'm right, and the global variable, the global script is going to always be ready before, right? Where's the borders script anyway? Yeah, and it is going to always be ready before the others, right? Let's put this over here a little bit. If I am right, and it is always going to be ready before the others, then you should have connected properly, right? Actually, let's test that for sure, right? Let's test that to be sure. So print should be second, and then in the other borders it should be, actually let's put it here, print should be first, right? Did you even print it? Should be second, did print this, didn't even try. Whoa, hold on, what? So it is happening first. So this is happening first, so that means that this should be connected. Oh, but you're not emitting with the right signature, are you? Yeah, you're not giving it 4 variables. So let's say down limit point position point. If it's the down, then it should be the Y. Actually, let's just. Oh right, I can't do that in GGScript. Oh, this is going to be a messy line. Up. No, it should be up, down. Yeah, it's up, down, left, right. Let's just put this here. Up, down, left, right. So, yeah. Up, down, left, right. And then all of these are followed by the word limit point position, and then some of them are position point X, and some of them are position point Y. So these two are X, this one is X, this one is X. So see, this is a thing that I don't like about GDScript, is that the line breaks matter. Wait, do they matter? Can I just do this? Because this is a lot more orderly, right? Am I allowed to do this? This doesn't feel right. Just given the other stuff that I've seen GTScript do. Running access to property or key position on the base object of type nil. Yeah, right. That's because I haven't assigned them. So you go over here, and yeah, up limit is up border, down limit is down border, left limit is left border, and right border is right limit. And then you have should be first, should be second, scripts borders is right. So now this one shouldn't be second, it should be third actually. So like that. So that should be first, second, and third. Okay, so it works. The problem is, I know that it is first right now, but I don't know if that is ensured, right? Or if it is arbitrary. So let's Google that, because that's the only way to know that one. Does anything assure me that... got up. Does anything assure me that a global script will be ready before all others? Question about singletons and the ready function. This sounds like it. Yeah. When using the ready function inside of a singleton script, will it only get called once when the game starts or every time the scene changes? If you switch to remote in the scene panel while the game is running, you will notice your auto-loaded singletons above your main scene, right below the root. It will be executed first in the order you specified in the auto-load project settings. Everything else follows. However, from then on, the other sequence in which the tree ready function in script will be executed one after another. It's unfortunately rather confusing. Oh, someone made a graphic. Look at this. This is a nice graphic that somebody made. This is going to be useful in understanding. But anyway, this is assuring me that let's not give those guys publicity. Okay. This is assuring me that yeah, this is assuring me that global scripts will have the ready always before. So then I'm safe. I'm safe in that regard, right? So how does this work then? It's fucking alphabetical. They load in alphabetical order. Yeah, it's 1, 2, because these are twig root, but not ready test. What do you mean it's confusing? This is alphabetical order. Twig root twig 1. So we can do to global, then all the ones with the longer name, and twig root 0, then all the ones with the shorter name. This is just alphabetical. Like you start at the base, then go higher, then go to the next one, you start at the base, then go higher. Or does it just happen to be alphabetical because the pattern is like that? And they go at the base. Yeah, so yeah, it goes up to down. Then when it encounters one that has a child, it'll always go to the furthest child it can find on the first branch, then start backing up. Then go to the next child. Oh, this one has a child, so it goes to these. Then it returns to the one. It goes to the next one. Okay, well, I don't think this is something that we should fucking be too reliant upon this order, but at least if globals always happen before, that is reasonable enough that I can rely on them, right? That is a thing that is like somewhat intuitive, so I don't mind relying on that, but relying on the particular order of many scripts in a scene feels weird. Let's not do that if I can help it. So anyway, that means that this is working, right? So now this script is going to, that it's, you know, accessible globally, is going to always have a reference of these things. Updating them is going to be in charge of whatever object is currently in charge of the work border objects, which is in this case this one, but you know, and so this guy is in charge of seeing when these guys change position and then on emitting the borders updated signal when and if that is the case. But other objects should be aware of that signal and connected when they're ready, but they should also, when they are ready, not rely on that signal being emitted because you don't know that it's going to be emitted when you are created. It's just emitted whenever it happens to be emitted. So you should also grab those references, right? And so finally, we get to the point where we can grab those references. So yeah, actually, this should be a call deferred. Yeah, they should be call deferred because I don't necessarily want to like receive those numbers from the thing. I can just check them out from the border, right? That's why it's storing them. It doesn't matter that the number of variables doesn't match. I think it shouldn't. I think if it receives more variables than it's expecting, then it should just chuck them away, right? Like, oh, okay, I don't need these, so then it just throws them. I don't think it needs like a specific exception for that. I hope. So yeah, when the borders are updated, we're gonna need another function that is just update borders, right? So update, but hold on. Just calling the update borders is a bad idea because I already am calling another thing updating borders, which is the global idea of updating borders. So let's call it update camera bounds, update camera bounds, right? And so when this happens, you should go to the global borders. You should go to the global borders and ask it for all of its, little border numbers. And we're going to be storing them into 4 variables that we're going to call bound up, bound down, bound left, and bound right. And as of right now, these are just going to be 0. This is just to clue the editor in that they're supposed to be floats without restricting them to being floats in case I need to nil one of them for some reason. Actually, no, let's leave them as nil. I think that nil is a good way of representing that the camera is not bound on this specific direction. So let's just leave them as nil at the beginning and then account for that, right? So then borders, yeah, update camera bound. Borders, yeah. So what's the name of this in borders? In the borders, it's up border, down border, left border, and right border. So yeah, it should be bound up equals borders point up border, and then we're going to copy that 4 times because this is just basically so down. Then these are just left, and these 2 are just right, like that. And so yeah, so we have this thing, and this is going to so when the stage borders are updated, you are going to update the camera bounds. Right, count up, identify count up. Oh, I just misspelled it 4 times. Bound up, right? I could tie this to, like, connect it from here, but maybe there's other things that I want to happen that are other than just updating bound numbers. So let's make sure that we're updating the camera bounds as a separate thing. And yeah, okay, and does that work then? So when you are ready, you're going to connect the function, and then manually you're going to update camera bound, right? Because we have no assurance that this signal is going to be emitted, and in fact, most of the times it's probably not gonna be. So right, this is silly. Of course, the camera bounds are not going to work because I haven't coded that behavior yet. So who is printing this should be second, because that should be the stage borders. Yep, we don't need this print anymore. Right. So now we should limit the camera to those borders, like actually, right? So let's close these off. We don't need to see them. So then in the process, right, this is the thing that went. So position equals the position of the target, but then that position should be clamped. So position point clamp float. It's receiving a minimum float or a maximum float. Does it account for receiving null? Returns a new vector with all components clamped between minimum and maximum by running global scope cam. Okay. Does this break if I pass you two nils? It's called null, isn't it? Yeah. Do you break if I pass you two nulls? You do. Okay. That's fine. So we have to account for null. If yeah, GG script. How do I ask if something is null? Position point x equals and then yeah, so if this is null, then I want to do does GD script support this this notation? Equals null, then do something, otherwise do something else, right? Is bound up doesn't equal truthy value if true condition, else falsy value. Oh, okay, so yeah, okay, so it's more typable. Okay, so then we want bound up if bound up doesn't equal null, else math point infinity. Does math does actually, do I have an infinity thing? Float, it will be float, right? Float point infinity. I'm just kind of guessing at the name of the thing. I should probably actually look it up. We have operators, we have constructors, float string bool int, operators, constructor descriptions, operator descriptions. Do you have? Okay, so let's Google it. GD script. I want a GD script float infinity. Is that a thing? If not, I'll have to see. Okay, so it's just inf. Wait, in the inspector? Are you? I'm not sure I trust you. You're sure? Like just infinity? Like that? Positive floating point infinity. Oh, there it is. Okay, so yeah, it's not derived from... Yeah, so I want bound up if bound up is not equal to null. Is this how this operator is going to work? Actually? Just show me the float thing again, please. Operators, not equal. It is true if the integer has a different value than the float. It's true if two floats are different from each other. And then here, the same thing. So bound down. Actually, they should be left and right, shouldn't they? Left and right. Right? And so, should this be positive infinity or negative infinity? It should be... Hold on, how does clamp work again? Clamps the value, returning... oh, so... Okay. I understand. So, yeah, it should be given the value first. Position point X, then be given the small bound, and then be given the large bound, right? So then, yeah, this is bound right. If bound right doesn't equal null, otherwise it should be equal to infinity. It should be infinity, right? Because the positive position is towards the right. So this should be bound left. If this is basically the same. So let's actually duplicate this. Yeah, let's actually duplicate this line. Select that. And put it here. And then like that. And then this should be, rather than bound right, this should be bound left. Right, let's make this just look a bit nicer. And then this should be negative infinity. And then we want something similar for position point Y, right? So here it should be position point Y. The upper bound is, or rather the larger number is towards the down, so this should be down, down, and then these two should be up, 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 like that. A bit more like that, yep. And actually we can probably just make this a bit nicer looking by lining it up with the top like this. Yep. And then that should be it. That should work, right? I see what's happening. I see what's happening. Oh, what a pain. Okay, it is working. The camera does stop at the point that it's supposed to stop. The problem is that the position that it's using as a reference for that is the camera position. And the camera position is right here. So this is stopping when it reaches here, but by that point, half the camera is already up. So what we need is to take into account the top and bottom of the camera. That means that we're going to have to calculate that, because that is relative to the size of the screen times the zoom, isn't it? Well, actually, how does the zoom work, right? If the zoom is 0, does that make the camera infinitely small? If the zoom level is 1, it's this size, but then if the zoom level is 2, is it double that size? Or half? This looks like half to me, but it's hard to eyeball it. This is 2. What is 1? Is 1 double? I think it is. Yeah. So let's go on that assumption that it's multiplicative, right? So then a larger zoom is smaller. So we have to take that into account. The edge of the camera should be the thing reaching that position. So, so in this case, our clamp numbers need to be we need to discover the maximum and minimum position, right? And there's no reason to do that every time. We can just do it only when the camera bounds are updated, right? So hold on, yeah, why do that at all? We can just do bound up, bound down, bound left, and bound right. So we can just be like, yeah. So yeah, this function is going to need to do a little bit more calculation. So the bound up is not actually that, because that's the bound up of that's going to make it the center position of the camera, and I want it to be the edge of the camera. So I have to find where the center of the camera is going to be when the top of the camera reaches that position, right? So that is equal to drag editor, draw limit, position splitting limit. Hold on. Are you fucking kidding me? Where's this position? Just like... Oh, for fuck's sake, that's functionality that the camera not already has. I'm such a fucking idiot. Hold on, does that make it easier for me actually? Because if this is the position, it's 8:45. Just 8:45. Yeah, that's the edge. Oh fuck, that makes it so much easier. Okay, so then what I need to do is really, I don't need to do this calculation on my own actually. I only need to update these values. Okay, fuck over this then. Fuck the process. We're not gonna, actually we still need to do this. But this is all we need to do on the process now. Because now it shouldn't be updating just these bound numbers. We don't need them. What you need to update is just these numbers right here, these limits. So just limit. Yeah, limit up, limit top, limit bottom. Oh man, that's so much easier. Limit left, talk about complicating, and limit right, and then that should just immediately work, right? Well, now it's not following the player, but I think that's just because... No, hold on, why is that actually? Position equals target point position. That should be working. It was working vertically. But it's not working horizontally. How come? How come? Is it even not working horizontally? Did I just left border, right border, limit left, limit right? Am I just giving a wrong number? Right? Am I just passing a wrong number from the border? Left limit, right limit. Am I just passing a wrong value here? It's left border and right border. Then am I... Okay, so that's the right value. Are you giving the wrong value? Left border, right border, left and right. Is the other borders... Let's grab this one. Up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right. Up border, down, left border, right. Are they just put the wrong way in the scene? This is down, this is the up, this is the left, this is the right. They are the right way. With left, limit right. Oh, that's not an issue. Okay, this confuses me. Why is that not working? Can you just print all those values? Limit top, bottom, left, and right. So yeah, 973. They are all 973. Is that what they should be? It's 973 positive y, 973 minus 973 negative y, 973 negative y, and 973 positive. That makes sense, yeah? So, because it's a square. Oh, hold on. I know what's going on. Because this is their local position, not their global position. I want their world position, not their position relative to their parent. That is the name of that variable, right? Yes, okay. There you go, now it works. Oh yeah, baby. Alright. That was fucking painful, Jesus Christ. This coding session felt like pulling teeth. So let's play video games after. I'll see you in a little bit.